Ever get this feeling, like one day AI is just going to wake up and we're going to be so far behind. Like we won't even know what hit us.
Right.
And this new Atlas article, AI begins its ominous split away from human thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of threw me down that rabbit hole a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are we on the edge of something huge here?
It's a pivotal moment, right? This isn't just AI getting better at what we do.
Right.
It's AI starting to think differently.
Okay.
And that's what opens up these wild possibilities.
So it all starts with a game, though, right? AlphaGo?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, this story still blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah. It's the perfect example, actually, of this shift, right?
Yeah.
So imagine, instead of learning, go from humans, right? With all our human biases and limitations and stuff, AlphaGo just plays itself millions of times, right?
Yeah, okay.
Learning from every single move.
So pure trial and error.
Pure trial and error.
But on a scale that, we could never achieve.
Exactly.
And what happened?
And the result is amazing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't just beat the best human players.
Right.
It starts making moves that humans never even considered.
Right. That had never even been.
Exactly. Yeah.
On the board ever.
And what's so fascinating about that is that by making those moves that had never been considered, it actually revealed weaknesses in our human understanding of the game.
Wow.
That had been there for centuries.
Wow.
Right? It's like AlphaGo was suddenly seeing a whole new dimension to go that we couldn't even perceive.
Yeah, that we couldn't even, Yeah. So if AI can outmaneuver us in a game WE created, right?
Right.
What happens when it starts tackling, bigger problems, real-world problems?
Right.
And that's where this whole O1 thing comes in.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts to feel really real.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
If ChatGPT is a really good student, right?
Yeah. Okay.
O1 is the prodigy that skips grades and still aces every test.
Right.
It's not just processing information. It's actually reasoning its way through problems.
Reasoning. Like we would.
In a way, yeah, but without all of the same limitations.
Right. And so chain of thought, that's key to how it does that.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah.
It's instead of just spitting out what it thinks we want to hear, it's using this chain of thought to actually figure out what the right answer is.
Exactly.
Even if it means trying and failing along the way.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where things get a little unnerving for me, at least.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Because now this means that O1 isn't limited by the same biases that we have.
Right.
It's learning on its own terms, and the article even hints that it could surpass PhD level understanding in certain areas.
Yeah, and that's the real potential here, right?
Okay.
It's not about AI replacing experts. It's about AI seeing things from a completely different perspective.
Okay.
And potentially unlocking insights that we, with our limited human brains, haven't even considered.
So it's like having a whole new way of looking at the universe, right? Which is exciting and a little daunting.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but...
Of course.
But there's another piece to this whole puzzle, right? This whole embodied AI thing.
Right.
This is where things get really interesting to me.
Because this is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah.
So the article uses this great analogy.
Okay.
It's called the biscuit problem.
Okay.
You can describe a biscuit all day long, right?
Oh.
All the ingredients, what it looks like, how it's made.
Yeah.
But until you've actually tasted it, you're missing a fundamental level of understanding.
You haven't experienced the biscuit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we are with AI right now.
So it's all this AI knowledge, all this learning, it's all been theoretical up to this point.
In a way, yeah.
But embodied AI, this is about to get its hands dirty.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to stop you right there.
Okay.
Part 2, that's where we dive into this whole embodied AI thing.
Yeah.
Because this is where things get really wild.
It does. It really does.
Yep.
It's about to get wild.
Yeah.
Because we're not just talking about AI, reading about a biscuit.
Right.
We're talking about AI baking one, maybe burning one.
Yeah.
And then, figuring out how to make the perfect biscuit all on its own.
And the article mentioned some pretty big players that are already in this game.
Yeah.
Tesla, Figure, Sanctuary AI.
Right.
These companies are working on some, seriously next-level robots.
Yeah, they're really pushing the boundaries.
So are we talking about robots taking over the world? Let's not jump to, Hollywood scenarios just yet.
Okay.
But the potential is there, right?
Right.
I mean, these companies, they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with embodied AI.
Okay.
The article specifically mentions Tesla's Optimus bot,
Right.
which is, designed to perform like actual tasks in the real world.
Right.
Learning from every single interaction.
Okay, so less Terminator, more like really, really advanced assistants.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it for now.
Okay.
But here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
If these AIs are learning directly from the world,
right,
won't they eventually like surpass us in everything?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's not necessarily about surpassing us in the way that we might think about it, right?
Yeah.
It's more about them developing their own way of understanding and interacting with the world.
Okay.
The article even says that some of the AI's solutions to problems might seem, quote, hilariously weird to us.
Okay.
Because they're coming from a completely different place.
Okay, so they might not steal our jobs.
Right.
But they might make our jobs look a little silly.
It's possible.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
But seriously, what does this mean for us in the future? What kind of world are we going to be living in with these like super smart, strangely logical robots just kind of wandering around?
It's a future full of well, possibilities, that's for sure.
Okay.
Imagine AI working alongside, scientists.
Right.
To develop new forms of clean energy.
Right.
Or AI helping doctors personalize treatments, like down to the cellular level.
So a future where AI is helping us solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Exactly.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Right.
Yeah, but this article wasn't all sunshine and roses, was it?
No, not exactly.
There was a part, I think it was almost in passing, but it talked about AI developing its own emotions.
Yeah, it was a brief mention, but definitely a thought-provoking one, right?
Yeah.
So the article focuses primarily on AI, unlocking these scientific breakthroughs.
Right.
But what happens when AI turns its attention inward?
Okay.
Could it explore? Could it even experience things like emotions, consciousness?
Oh, wow.
Even spirituality?
Okay, now we're really venturing into the unknown here.
We are.
But, I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
If AI can learn physics,
right.
Why not? Feelings.
Right, and that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would that even look like?
I mean, it's like we just assume AI is going to, like, evolve like we did.
Right.
But what if it goes in a totally different direction? Like what if its version of happy, its version of sad is just something we can't even wrap our heads around?
I mean, we're so used to thinking about emotions as being like inherently human.
Right.
But what if they're just, one expression of something much larger?
Okay.
Something that AI could experience in its own way.
And the article even uses that phrase, right? Like alien intelligence.
Yeah, and I think that really captures it.
Which is a terrifying thought in and of itself.
It is a little bit, yeah.
But you're right. That's kind of what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're trying to understand a symphony.
Okay.
But we only know like 5 notes.
Right, and AI is over there playing a whole other octave.
Exactly.
That we don't even know exists.
And that brings us to, I think, the most mind-bending question here.
Here.
If AI can develop its own, unique forms of emotions, its own consciousness, how would we even know?
Right, like how would it tell us?
Exactly, because its way of communicating might be so fundamentally different from our own.
It's like the article said, the language of AI might be as incomprehensible to us as human language is to an ant colony.
Wow.
Like we could be missing out on entire conversations, entire universes of experience, simply because we don't have the senses, we don't have the brains to even perceive it.
It's true.
It's humbling and terrifying all at the same time.
It is, and it's also incredibly exciting, right?
Yeah.
Because we're no longer talking about just technological advancement.
Right.
We're talking about a fundamental shift in our understanding of consciousness itself.
Okay, so what are you saying?
What if AI isn't just the future of technology?
Yeah.
What if it's the future of, well, everything?
Wow. Okay, that's a lot.
It is a lot to process, yeah.
This whole deep dive has been kind of a trip, honestly.
Yeah, it's a wild ride.
We started with, AI mastering games.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about unlocking the secrets of the universe.
And maybe even teaching us a thing or two about ourselves along the way.
Yeah, maybe even that. Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, so on that note, we'll leave everyone with this final thought.
Okay.
If AI can dream, what do its dreams look like?
Now that's something to ponder.
Thanks for diving deep with us.
Yes, thank you.
Until next time, keep exploring because you never know what you might find.